This Excel demonstration is on how to create a categorical frequency table. The Excel workbook that you'll want to use is Excel Demonstration Categorical Frequency Table. The example that's on the worksheet says, a physical therapist wants to determine the types of rehabilitation required by her patients. She collects a simple random sample of 30 of her patients and records the body part requiring rehabilitation. Construct a frequency distribution of location of injury. So under table 1, I have all the raw data. So she went through, she collected that data from her 30 random samples. Then over here, I started my table and I said the location of the injury, back, elbow, hip, knee, neck, and shoulder. So those are the possibilities. Those are the things that I came up with out of table 1. And then we want to count how many times that occurs. And so we want the frequency of back occurring, the frequency of elbow occurring. And so we're going to use a function in Excel called COUNTIF. So if I go up to my function commands and I type COUNTIF, go, it's this very first one, and it counts the number of cells within a range that meet the given condition. So I'll say OK. First thing that it asks for is it asks for a range. So I'm going to highlight the range of data that I want it to go through and count. So I'm coming all the way down here to all 30 pieces of data. And then what I'm going to do is I'm pushing the function F4. So after I highlighted the range, I'm typing F4, not typing, I'm pushing F4 on my keyboard so that look at what happens is it puts $B, $6, $B, $35. That locks in that range so that it'll look at that range from B6 to B35 all the time. And you'll see that we need to do that when we decide to copy this function down to elbow, hip, knee, neck, and shoulder. Then under the criteria, using this function, we can type in back and it'll sort through and find it. Or in our case, we'll just highlight the cell back. And I won't push F4 this time because I want it to increment down to elbow, hip, knee, neck, and shoulder when I copy the cell down. So now I'm going to click OK. And it's going to count how many times back occurred in my 30 pieces of data. So notice what happens. So when I take this formula and I copy it down, all the way down to shoulder, and then let's look at what's behind each one. So under elbow, it says use B6, so that's this, to B35. So all the way down to B35, let's make sure that that's working okay. So our formula looks like it's working right. B6 to 35. And it's using the criteria of D8, and that's where elbow's at. The next one, when I look at it, it's got the locked in cells from B6 to B35, and it's looking at D9. B6 to B35, looking at knee in D10, D11, D12. So everything's okay. It's doing the counts. It's going through and it's sorting everything for you so that you don't have to go through and tally in for back, elbow, hip, knee, neck, and shoulder. So let's check the work by summing. So we're going up here to the sum icon and we're going to click sum. And it's summing all those values from E7 to E12. And there's 30 pieces of data. So everything's okay. I've got my categorical frequency table generated with the location of the injury and the count of in which the injury occurs.